one thing that I just kind of ran across my page, I learned that Central had the largest growth of all North Carolina schools over this year. So they went up 14% in enrollment. I know A&T typically gets all the fanfare when you talk about student enrollment and growth in their schools. But shout out to you, Central, because that's not easy to do, especially in the Durham area. So I'm sure you know all about.
Hold
Um,
up. What y'all got to say about Durham? Hold up.
no, nobody's saying nothing about Durham, but I'm just saying, you know how I mean, I'm not gonna say what they say, but I love that.
What have you said about Durham?
Durham, girl. They try to treat Durham like it's Fayetteville, but that's a place I don't want to go. So I love all just in general the things I have learned about Durham in the last year, the growth that they are making, the changes that they are making, specifically in the Black community, the businesses. I know we don't typically talk about businesses, but that's like my jam. So the Black businesses, the things that they're doing to just to support the entire community overall. So I'm really excited
Hmm.
to hear about that increase in enrollment over there. 14%. That's huge. That is
Yeah,
huge.
absolutely.
So I
Absolutely. And
really.
what people don't realize or people don't know about Durham, Durham had a Black Wall Street as well.
Mhm.
Very, very beautiful, thriving community. Central, North Carolina Central is not that far from where Black Wall Street used to be. Of course, they put a highway, which is, the way that they decimated a lot of our communities. But of course, they put the
Absolutely.
Durham Freeway right in the middle of that area. And to be honest, kind of like almost like a late Lanier story. Like it just what there was just no growth there for a long time. Now it is, and I
Mhm.
think that was partly from Durham atoning for, what happened,
Right.
to the community and just like calling it out and just saying, yeah, that wasn't right what the community did back then. So, definitely shout out to Durham, a very big, thriving Black community. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, and, of course, like kind of, like you said with A&T, like maybe Central sometimes might get overshadowed by that, but I think like Durham kind of gets overshadowed by like a Charlotte in the North Carolina realm, but like Durham is a huge Black thriving community, very tight knit. A beautiful place to live. So just to hear that now, the growth of North Carolina Central, that's just bringing more, Black people to come contribute to the community, hopefully stay after graduation, and things like that. I mean, we got a Black mayor. Last cycle we had a woman mayor, Black woman mayor. This cycle we have a Black man, and he was a graduate of North Carolina Central University. So I mean, uh, you just love to, you love to hear stories like that. So yeah, they do say little things about Durham, but it's okay because like it's definitely a beautiful
I was
community.
so I'm an outsider, so I could only have the opportunity to listen. But
Hmm.
I'm not. I won't say that anything to me. So I'm gonna make a wild comparison, but I felt the same way about Durham as I did Baltimore. So like you only hear the bad things, you
You
only
only, yeah.
things, but then you go and it's like, oh, these my people. Y'all just scary. Y'all just don't like being around my people. I'm home. So that's kind of really more of what I went. And I feel like they don't necessarily work as hard to assimilate away from that. Like they stand in their blackness, they stand in their community, and they're proud of that, as opposed to trying to not to say move away, but go more corporate or go away from like even our foundation as a community. So shout out to Durham. I wasn't saying anything necessarily bad. It
No,
was
I don't think you were, but I mean that's funny that you say that because like that is the thing. Like when I went, that was the thing. Like, oh, you from there? Have you been shot, sir? What?
sure,
What?
sure, sure.
So yeah, like it was just insane. So like even but like and like going back to Latanya and like kind of tying it in, like how Winston, like she has like the reading program, like going to the elementary schools and school, and like
Mhm.
doing the reading program. That is as a somebody growing up in Durham. So went to middle school, high school, elementary school. Like that's what you saw. Like I saw Central in the community,
Mhm.
right? And so it was like it was very much integrated into my experiences growing up. Like you had teachers and like what they was gonna do was rep Central. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just such an easy transition to go from Durham to Winston-Salem because it's like the same thing. Like Winston is so in the community, and I love that. I mean, from the reading programs, from the Black and Red Affair, where we give gifts and things away to
Mhm.
families of the less fortunate during Christmas time. It's just like that is HBCU culture to me.
Right.
And so I love, so, of course they're going to have the stigmas. And I mean, like you said, all the major Black cities have some type of stigma. And I feel like that's very intentional. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Absolutely.
like, they're just to deter people from seeing the work that they do inside the communities to help grow the communities, to help, even tear down some of these stigmas. Like, being in Durham, like you see a Black doctor, like that's nothing to see a Black doctor. Like I said, a Black mayor, the Black principal, like it's nothing to see that. So like the transition to Winston was just so easy because I'm like, oh, Central did that. When I was a kid, this happened, and so to come to Winston was like the same thing. And I'm sure a lot of people can say that about their HBCU experience, but I even love the fact that like not coming from such a Black town, right?
Mhm.
Not coming from such a Black town and going to an HBCU and you're like, oh, this is community. This is how we do. And so yeah, so yeah, I love it. I love Durham. Even here, I'm like, I'll tell people like, no, but I'm from Durham. Like
Okay.
y'all New Yorkers cute, but I'm from Durham.
Period. You guys drop in the comments where y'all are from. And I want to know how your
Oh,
HBCU is imparted into the city. I know for us, Chancellor Brown is doing this road tour. So she's going to major cities and even on major cities around North Carolina with a recruitment team doing these pop-ups in different schools so we can bring some more talent to WSSU. So drop us a
love
comment. Tell
that.
us where you at, what school you in, or went to alumni graduated or not. I don't know. HBCU pride, right? Whatever. Let us know where
And your
y'all
experience. Like
are.
I want to now that we're talking about it, I want to know like, were you from an HBCU town? And they count you as a we get little show notes, y'all. So I'm like, wait, what? And it pops up. But like yeah, like, and I want to know what the experience was. Like, how did you get to the HBCU circuit? Like, were you familiar with it? Like I was, like, I'm talking about fashion. Anyway, it was nothing to go to Winston because I'm like, oh, fashion shows easy, step shows been there. Like,
It is crazy how much, because I would like, I know we talked like about first episode, like I wouldn't say that I was brought up HBCU, but I grew up in Newport News, Virginia. You got my aunt went to Hampton, like you got Hampton right there, you got Norfolk State right.
mm,
And then a little across the way, you have Virginia State. You got all the other ones. Like, no, Coppin State is in Maryland, I think. Oh God, don't make me lie. But it's just interesting how much HBCU culture I really did grow up around. And I think that's why I'm
mm-hmm.
so comfortable now in HBCU culture. It's like, girl, this is who you was all along. So
Yeah, it was
oh,
nothing.